starter off a 59 Pontiac 389, and I wish I had done this video before I started cleaning it up. I've been working on it for probably about 20 minutes. It was completely, covered. This thing was on the 59 Pontiac that I got out of a junkyard. I bought this car a while ago. It's been a while now, but it was in this century that I bought it. And they said that car got parked there about 1973. This thing was covered, well, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm tearing it down this weekend, hopefully, and cleaning it all up. And it might have been working when that car was took to the junkyard. There's no way of telling. And I'm going to try to get the spin. And the reason I want to do that is that if you looked at other videos of mine, you've seen this, and I'm trying to free this up. There's a 389 block under there. The heads are off of it. And I got the oil pan off, and I've been soaking it down with, that PB Blaster stuff and WD-40 and, using a torque, a big long torque wrench on it. And I took it all apart just now. And getting it apart, if you look at the armature, you see it looks pretty shiny. Considering, until you get it to there, then you see the discoloration. And then when you look in here at the pole shoes, I don't know if that's coming on or not, but there's one pole shoe, that one right there, you got to see the rust on it. So I imagine that when this thing finally ended up at the junkyard, because the other ones are actually shiny. I don't know if you can see it, but when this ended up at the junkyard, that pole shoe, the armature, that part was laying on, this part was laying against there, which is telling me that the bushing in here is probably worn a little bit, enough so that it was laying there. Now, I'm not worried about it. I really think this thing's serviceable. I'm going to clean it all up good today. And hopefully she'll kick that motor over and free it up. If she doesn't, then what I'm going to do is this. It's one of the junkyard cabs out here where I'm at. What I'm going to do is try to, pull some of the pistons out, take the end caps off and push them out. And you can get 2, 3, even 1 piston out. There'll be less resistance. But first we're going to try it this way. And what I'm doing is I'm making a series of little videos that I hope to loop them all together into one. And that's the way it is. Got my old book here. This one covers like 1957, I think. Yeah, to 67. It's good size. I shouldn't be handling it. My hands are greasy, but they're good to have when you're messing with this old stuff. And of course, YouTube is priceless. There it is. I've cleaned it all up. And remember that piece there? I said that little copper ring needed to be cleaned up. Well, it's shiny now. And I really think that'll make a difference. And that thing touches that. And that thing was, you couldn't see it. It was just completely carbon black. So when this all goes together, I think it should work. And the armature is looking, I think, better, a lot better. And I guess, I don't know, the body, if you look in there, it's better. It's definitely a lot cleaner. I give it a 50-50 chance of working. Maybe better than 50. It was probably working when it was parked. And what I got to say is this. That that little kit there, a guy gave me that. It's this little Stanley toolkit. I love it. That thing comes in so handy, and it's just easy to pick up and carry, and you know, you don't have screwdrivers with it. It'd be nice if it had a couple of decent screwdrivers and maybe a few wrenches, but regardless, I love that little thing. And now all I gotta do is, hopefully, I can remember how to put it back together. And when I get it back together, there ain't a lot of parts left over. And the next time you see this, it should be all painted up, and we'll bench test it. And if she kicks, then the next video will be, like I said, I'm going to string these all together, so it seems kind of strange as each one connects to the other. The flow might not be perfect, but you'll get the drift of it. And okay, as you can see, I got this. Here's the starter solenoid, and I took it apart. And I want to just show you this in case you've never done it before. You take it apart. See that? Well, you got these two here, screws. And you got to take them out, of course. And once you get them two out, then you got to take this one off, which I got it on finger tight. I don't know if I'm going to get, yeah, okay, you see that? Okay, but you got one more to go, and that's this little pole, or whatever you want to call it. And what's holding that on there, they got all these little plastic washers, as you can see. And this one here had a little plastic washer, and it was all the way down. So it held it, along with, you know, these two little nuts. Sorry about this, but, and so of course you take the first little nut off if you have the wire on there, and you could just then remove the wire. But if you want to take this off, then you got to take that next little nut off. And then after you get that off, you're now down to this holding it in. And I thought about, well, okay, I'll try to pry it off, but it didn't want to pry off. So, you can probably see there's a little chip on it from where I tried to pry it. I don't know if you can see it or not. So, it's real simple. All you gotta do is tap it. Now it's not going in, because I'm holding this thing with one hand and trying to tap it with the other, and that's why this video sucks. But it will go all the way in, see? And then you can take this off. And, you know, commence to cleaning it all up inside, which I'm fixing to do. Now it had a gasket that went around here, you know, to keep the moisture out, which is, of course, gone. It ain't coming back. It just completely fell apart. Maybe you can see pieces of it here. So what I'm going to do when I finally put it back together is I'll put a bead of silicone around this. And you could probably even then put a piece of duct tape around it. But just wanted you to see that, because the manual don't tell you that. It doesn't tell you anything about taking that, you know, opening this thing up, which, you know, I think it was necessary, because I see this piece here, you can see it's copper underneath. And, you know, that has to do with that electromagnetic stuff that's going on. And I think we want, and you know, this is filthy, so I want to clean this up. I think it'll have, you know, definitely affect the starting ability. Okay. Now we got this starter, you know, that we've been talking about off the old 59 Pontiac, and we're going to bench test it. It's real simple. I got a jumper cable, as you can see, hooked up. You got this here is your ground, and this here is your, you know, positive. And then you got your little, whoops, this thing's going to jump, so don't jump when it goes, okay? So you're going to see spark. and it's going to jump. And then I hook this jumper cable, little long jumper, to the little thing down there, the pin that I showed you have to push in after you took the little nuts off, so you could open this up and inspect it and clean it. And everybody I see on the YouTube is using a screwdriver, so I thought it'd be different. But you're going to see this thing should spin and jump out. And if it does, then we know the start is good, so let's see what happens. See that? Does that come out? Sure does. So we got a good starter. Next step will be on that 389 that's froze up and see if it can get that thing to spin. Well, I put the starter in and I already tried it. It didn't even move a millimeter or whatever. It just didn't move. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, but I did take the starter and I painted it. I put a little clear coat on it, and I did put a bead of like a waterproof gasket sealant, and then I wrapped it with black duct tape, and I painted the starter so it looks pretty, but it's not doing what I'd like to do, and I'll show you. Not, well, you know what I'm talking about. So, back to the drawing board. I'll try something else, but I'm gonna put all the separate little videos together into one video, and if I make another one, it'll be after I maybe try to pop some of these pistons out. That might help it to spin. I did check, my 59 Pontiac. And that is in park. That would be, it's a 5 different things you can go through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that is in park. So that's about it. Everybody, thanks for watching, and it didn't work.